Hey guys, this is Pratik and you're watching Technocrat. The main purpose of education is to remove ignorance from our society. If it doesn't help you earn a living, it at least has to make your thinking rational. So, education helps you have an open mind, it helps you understand things around you, it also helps you utilize the resources around you properly. Technology and internet are arguably and undisputedly the most powerful resources of today. We have grown up with technology, we have seen it evolve, we are quite familiar with it. But what about our elders and older generations? They have not been with it as long as we were with it, so they are naturally not as much familiar with it as we are. They also develop a strange sort of ignorance towards it. So, what is ignorance? Ignorance is nothing but the willful denial of reality. The one who is ignorant always chooses the old techniques and old methods over the new ones. Even though they understand that the older ones are outdated and the newer ones are better, there's something that doesn't allow them to try something new. Few people, when they visit new places, they prefer to ask strangers passing by the route for their destinations rather than using GPS or Google Maps on their mobile phones. This happens because maybe they don't develop a trust with these online services, or they might be thinking that the person who actually lives there might have a better understanding and might show the shortest route to the destination, but then Google Maps is best at doing it. We see people reading newspapers daily in the morning to have an outlook of what's going around in this world. Most of the time I wonder that why these people don't use internet to have real-time updates. On the other hand, we have our news feeds to scroll all day and we get all the updates dot on time, and at the same time we get many perspectives from many different sources. Maybe the ones who still rely on newspaper for news updates are the ones who feel that a newspaper is a more trusted and an authentic source of information, but I personally feel that it's a fairly biased thing because may it be press or media, their main business model is to capture more eyeballs so that they can put on more advertisements. We often see that many people are comfortable transacting in cash rather than making payments digitally or through plastic currency. They clearly understand that using plastic currency or transacting digitally would curb the black economy and also would make it very comfortable for them to see all their expenses and be very accountable. The ones who still insist on cash payments, maybe they don't get a sense of money until and unless they hand over that paper currency to the vendor. When you transact digitally, you see numbers on your phone screen, on the screen of the computer of the vendor, and on the bills that you get. In the above three examples that we have seen, people are ignorant of the new technologies and that has made them very comfortable with the old methods. And naturally there is a thought process that is not letting people choose the new methods over the old methods, and there is something that is not letting people step out of it. But what is that something? It is habits. The habits that we have built over years, which is very difficult to get rid of. When you try to dig deeper, you also understand that ignorance is also because of a strange sort of enigma or mystery that surrounds technology. People often feel that they might run into making mistakes, but don't get habits in the wrong sense. Habits are in fact the best things to have. A good habit helps you do things effortlessly. There is no problem if people are not comfortable using the new things over the old things. So far so good, but ignorance should never be a legacy. Ignorance can really get dangerous in few places. For example, ignorance can stop people from adopting technology in education. We are still following the traditional education methods and classrooms have been the same since the past 100 years. People sit in benches and teachers teach on the board. Whenever we think of education, our mind still has the same image of students sitting in a classroom taking down notes and stuff. What if I said you that anyone from anywhere can learn anything using a $100 phone and a $10 internet connection? But then I perceive this not just as ignorance but as a conspiracy. Because if people are adopted to this new form of learning, that is e-learning, then people will stop coming to college or schools. And if people also find that they can be employed just by having courses online, then why would even people think of university educations? Technology has become the backbone of our society and internet has become the lifeline of our society. Internet is considered as the fourth industrial revolution. It is constantly transforming all the businesses. The most richest person on this planet has said that if your business is not on internet, then it's out of business. It is Bill Gates who has said that. At least respect his words for what he represents. We really live in a very strange world. The largest retailer doesn't have a single store of his own. The largest transport company doesn't have a single cab of its own. The largest hotel chain owner doesn't have a single room of his own. The largest food delivery service doesn't have a single restaurant of its own. Technology is constantly driving this digital transformation and disrupting almost every industry. If there is any place that I want to see disruption, that would be in education. At least by the time I rest in peace, I want someone to say that the largest place of learning doesn't have a single classroom of its own. The cost of education and subsequently the cost of bringing up a child has become fourfold in the past 20 years. It is mostly because the cost of university fees has become tenfold, that is much higher than the inflation rate. If internet and technology come into play and make everyone self-sufficient, that is, if everyone is able to learn on their own and if they become employable, then there would be no social barrier. That is, there wouldn't be any discrimination between the ones who can afford for education and the ones who cannot. And I feel that the disruption has already begun. So all the education institutions all across the globe, mind it. Ultimately, for the ones who still ignore internet and technology, there's only one thing that I want to highlight. You better understand that you don't understand. Most of the people might have different experiences, different backgrounds, different upbringing related to technology, so they naturally have a different perspective. It also makes them underestimate the power of internet, which they ideally shouldn't be doing. I personally feel that the older generations are more ignorant of technology than the newer generations. Just think of the experience they have. Their experience, their knowledge, and the present age access to information would just make a deadly combination. For example, if I see someone using dictionary to find the meaning of a word, they might be habituated to using a dictionary, turning over the pages alphabetically to find that one particular word and find its meaning. But then how would it be if that person Googled for that word? He would also find its synonyms. He would also find the various cases in which that word can be used. He can also have an insight into in what period of time this word was mostly used. It definitely takes quite a bit of time to get over the habituation of using the old methods and get over the reluctance of using the new methods, but it's definitely worth doing it. Unknowingly and unpurposely having the ignorance is nothing wrong, but then it really gets worse when you take pride in doing so. That itself is called stupidity. Einstein once said that there is surely a limit to intelligence, but there is no limit to stupidity. If you identify yourself as someone who is ignorant about technology, then just give it a moment. Think about it, introspect and get over the reluctance. If you still choose to purposefully deny the reality, then even ignore this video. I'll see you in my other video where you understand something new. Always believe in science and make the best possible use of technology. Until then, bye bye.